The husband had finally returned home after being away for 3 whole years. The moment his wife saw him, she panicked and hid inside his younger brother's bed. The younger brother immediately got nervous. He was afraid his older brother would misunderstand the situation. He quickly whispered to the woman, "You need to leave right now." But the woman folded her hands and begged, "Please, don't expose my secret." At that exact moment, the husband walked into the room. He looked at his younger brother and asked, "Who's in the bed?" Just as the older brother was about to pull off the blanket, the younger brother stopped him and quickly said, "She's my girlfriend." After hearing that, the older brother silently walked out of the room. The moment he left, the woman finally sighed in relief and said, "Please, just let me stay here for tonight." Then she revealed a truth that changed everything. She was never actually his brother's real wife. 3 years earlier, the older brother had accidentally spent one night with her best friend. Before leaving, he promised to marry her and left behind his necklace. But her friend never wanted a relationship with him, so she handed the necklace to her friend instead. Around the same time, the older brother left the country to become rich overseas. That's when the woman took her friend's place and began living as his wife. But after returning 3 years later, the man discovered that his wife had secretly hidden a suitcase full of gold. He immediately assumed she was greedy and obsessed with money. The woman became terrified. She desperately wanted the real girl to return before her husband discovered the truth. The younger brother decided to help her, because during those 3 years, he had fallen in love with his own brother's fake wife, but he never had the courage to confess his feelings. The next day, the younger brother came up with a plan so his brother wouldn't suspect anything. He told the girl, "Leave a love bite on my neck." The girl immediately kissed his neck. When the older brother noticed the mark later, he became convinced that the woman in the bed really had been his younger brother's girlfriend. Sometime later, the older brother arrived at the company to take control of the business. By coincidence, the real girl also worked there. The moment he saw her, he felt like he had seen her somewhere before. To confirm his suspicion, he asked her to say something. The second he heard her voice, he instantly remembered. She was the girl from that night. The woman recognized him too and panicked before running away. At the same time, the fake wife finally managed to contact her friend. The two women agreed to meet that afternoon, but before they could meet, the older brother approached the real girl. He mistakenly believed she was his wife who had disappeared the previous night. He asked, "Where were you last night?" The girl angrily replied, "That's none of your business." But the man answered, "You're my woman." The moment she heard that, she slapped him hard across the face. Every employee in the office was completely shocked, but the man assumed his wife was simply trying to hide their relationship. So instead of getting angry, he calmly covered up the situation and even praised the slap in front of everyone. Afterward, the girl headed to meet her friend, but the moment she stepped into the elevator, the power suddenly went out. Terrified, she began screaming loudly for help. At the same time, her friend had already arrived at the company, but the moment she saw the older brother standing there, she panicked and quickly hid her face. Then she suddenly heard her friend's voice crying out from inside the elevator. She immediately ran toward it, but the doors wouldn't open. Hearing all the commotion, the older brother rushed over too. After struggling for a moment, he finally forced the elevator doors open, and in the very next second, all 3 of them were standing face to face.